Hari, Hari, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat. Jai Guru. Dear and blessed citizens of the world, dear and blessed children of immortality, dear and blessed heirs to the most ancient and glorious cultured civilization. Along with all of you, I am happy that our Honorable Vice President Sri Venkaiah Naidu is present on the occasion, and he will be delighting all of you with his inaugural address. Equally so, we are all happy that Srimati Indira Banerjee, Honorable Justice of the Supreme Court of India, is also present. She will also be addressing the entire viewers the world over. This is the fifth convention, as all of you know. Right in the first convention, I wanted to make it known to the world over that Bhagavad Gita is not, as is generally understood to be, not a religious text at all. This is something very important. India has two epic historic narrations. One is Ramayana, authored by sage Valmiki. The second is Mahabharata, the very long compendium consisting of 125,000 Sanskrit verses. Mahabharata is portraying the decline and fall of the Kuru dynasty, which ruled India for long. Whenever there is a value decline, there will always be destruction. The alternate to coexistence is always co-destruction, it is said. So the decline of values will always result in disaster, whether it is in the individual or in the family, in the social segment, in the nation or in the entire globe. Vedavyasa, sage Vyasa, who authored Mahabharata, is conveying through his Mahabharata narration the stories, the life, characteristics, behavior, interactions, etc. of 6 generations commencing from himself. Bhagavad Gita is a part of this historic narration. While Mahabharata has 125,000 Sanskrit verses, Mahabharata has this much. Bhagavad Gita has only 18 chapters consisting of 700 Sanskrit verses. We should not forget this fundamental fact. It is a historic narration. The best description that we can give to Mahabharata is that it is an administrative treasure trove. I would like all of you to understand once again, those people who have understood, for the newcomers to understand it for the first time, that Bhagavad Gita is a dialogue that transpired in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is about 145 kilometers away from New Delhi, the capital of India. In the battlefield, both the armies to fight the battle and win it had assembled with a lot of enthusiasm, fervor, commitment and dedication. War cries had already been raised. The discharge of arrows alone was about to commence. Mind you, 4.5 million warriors stood holding their breath, because that was the tradition and the discipline of the fighters at the time. Why? Arjuna, the illustrious fighter of the Pandava camp, wanted to examine both the armies before deciding upon his strategy to fight the war. He asked Krishna the charioteer to drive the horses and station them in a suitable point so that he would be able to examine both the armies. Krishna drove the horses. They galloped and stopped right in front of Bhishma and Drona, leading the opposite camp. You know that Bhishma was the great grandfather who bred Pandavas. Pandavas had no father by then. So Bhishma was responsible for bringing up the Pandavas along with the others. Arjuna had done a lot of special austerities for getting Pashupadastra Etista. He was quite ambitious to add to his laurels. Krishna felt that Arjuna lacked something. He had all other glories, physical might, mental strength, intellectual precision, all he had. But he still had some hollowness in him. He wanted to somehow bring it forth to the satisfaction of Arjuna himself. He was waiting for an opportunity, Krishna, to fill the gap in his dear friend Arjuna. Krishna, after stopping the chariot in front of Bhishma and Drona, told Arjuna in a very significant manner, Arjuna, now you see the whole army and decide for yourself whether you have all the competence that you need to fight this unprecedented war. Arjuna looked at both the armies, particularly his grandfather Bhishma and then Drona. Grandfather has brought him up, administered morsels of food right from the childhood, keeping him on his lap. Drona was the teacher from whom Arjuna had imbibed all the fighting skills and weapons. Now he had to fight both of them using the skill he has imbibed from him. Imagine the situation. And on both fronts he found his own kith and kin. Arjuna had fight a number of wars. Arjuna had to fight a number of wars, but they were all against enemies. But this is the only occasion when he had to confront his own relatives, teacher and grandfather. Arjuna crumbled in the battlefield. Altogether crumbled. The impact on Arjuna was very terrible. He was unable to understand anything whatsoever. He was a great warrior, all right. Now he lacked the determination, the resolve, and everything that was necessary. See what happened? What Krishna expected, the same happened. Krishna was in a way happy so that he could be administering the right tuition to Arjuna to fill his gap and make him fully heroic, valorous, and a fulfilling fighter. This is the confrontation that everyone in the world is likely to have today or tomorrow. We are not going to fight a direct battle. We are not fighters, but we are living in this world. Our regular life in this world, especially in the modern ages, is a kind of a war front, is a kind of a war. Our confrontations are with our own mental problems. We lose our resolve. We become weak. We are unable to think rightly and properly. Clarity of thought is denied. It doesn't occur to us. How to face all these crises and resolve the problem? All these are incidental to and consequences to our interactional life. Here comes the relevance of Bhagavad Gita, how it is helpful to all people of modern men and how it can be helpful to us. Everybody is wondering, a war gospel that was given more than 5,000 years ago, how can it be useful and relevant to the present day? Understand that life is interactional. The individual is always interacting with the rest of the world. He has to interact with persons, places, and events. The interacting subject individual remains the same, and the other factors are variable. Unless he is able to equip, enrich, empower, and enlighten himself, we will not be able to live in this world with the necessary harmony, resolve, and poise. Our subject for today's discussion for the entire convention is mental harmony, the universal message. I shall speak about it later. Now all of us are waiting for our Honorable Vice President to delight the hearts of all people by his inaugural message. Equally so, we are waiting for the Supreme Court Justice Srimati Indira Banerjee to address the audience. Along with all of you, I shall be present to listen to their messages. I wish you all a good beginning and dedicated listening. Hari Om Tat Sat. Jai Guru.